everyone? Welcome into another video. Hard to believe it is officially the first day of April, and of course the saying goes, April showers bring May flowers, and that definitely is going to be the case as we head into tomorrow. Now, of course, I mentioned in my in my video yesterday that I was going to record these videos. Of course, we're done with basketball season until, or at least in conference play, until mid-November. So I'm still going to be doing those things, still going to be recapping both men's and women's Crossroads League games only as we head into the upcoming regular season in mid-November. Still doing the same thing in March for the NAIA National Tournament, recapping all Crossroads League schools that play in every game until they happen to lose in the national tournament, as well as still doing a preview of what teams I think will be in the national tournament, which teams won't be, as well as talking about talking about teams that made the national tournament, their statistics, that sort of thing, and then of course filling out my national tournament bracket, showing you my picks for the national tournament, and of course updating that after each individual round. I'm still going to be doing all those things next season, so I definitely wanted to mention that right off the bat so that you can still follow me on here for all that content. Please keep subscribing to my channel to be notified whenever I upload new videos. So in terms of sports, I'm still going to be doing that next season, and then of course on my Spotify for Creators podcast, I've actually had quite a few people that have listened to my episode to my most recent episode. So if you are one of those people that listened to my recent Spotify podcast on Spotify for Creators podcast, if you are one of those that hit the play button and listened to my last episode, thank you so much for that. Please keep doing so. Please follow me on there so you're notified whenever I upload new episodes. So I'm still going to utilize that platform for any player and coaches interviews in the years ahead. So make sure, again, that you stay tuned for that. I'm going to be doing that or at least doing those interviews strictly on that podcast website. So make sure that you follow me there. So now outside of the sports news, in terms of giving you a quick update regarding that, I wanted to talk for a couple of minutes about the weather, because as we head into the spring and summer, I want to be doing these types of videos on really big, severe weather risk days only, so that you are the first to be notified, so I can help you know that you have an action plan in place and that you're able to utilize that and stay safe, because we have a big, severe weather risk day coming up tomorrow. And well, actually it starts today. If you're down in Oklahoma, central, really even into southern Oklahoma, northward up Interstate 35 through Oklahoma City, Stillwater, and then continuing up into Kansas toward the Wichita, Kansas area. If you know anybody in that area, please contact them on social media or call them or text them and let them know that they are in the risk area today. In that part of the country, the cap, at least everybody thinks the cap is going to break, and you might be wondering, well, what does a cap mean in the world of meteorology? Well, based on everybody that I regularly listen to, or not really listen, but watch, a cap is when you have temperatures in the atmosphere, like it's almost like when you put something in the oven, whether you're baking a cake or biscuits or turkey at Thanksgiving, and you're trying to get it to just the right temperature, but if your oven is not hot enough, then obviously whatever you have in there is not going to come out right. Well, it's very, very similar in terms of meteorology for a cap, that if there's not enough warm air getting past a certain point, then that's going to limit the development of storms. And we're just really not going to be seeing that in Oklahoma. So if you know anybody down around Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma City, maybe up towards the Tulsa area and points northward up toward Kansas City, Missouri, and Wichita, Kansas, definitely contact people that you know in that area and let them know that it could get a little rough as we head into tonight. So I did want to mention that. Now, in terms of tomorrow, that same storm system is going to be coming eastward, heading towards Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And now some of the last not computer models, but some of the things that I have seen over this morning have indicated that things could really get bad, especially down toward the Mississippi River Valley, into far southwestern Kentucky, western Tennessee, down to northeastern Arkansas, as well as northern Mississippi, extending northward into southern and maybe even as far north as Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then maybe further west toward Lafayette, and maybe even as far west as the Chicago area, down towards Bloomington, Champaign, Springfield, and Urbana in the state of Illinois, and then potentially as far east as the I-71 corridor here in Ohio, Columbus, down towards Cincinnati, Dayton, Lebanon, Jefferson or Washington Courthouse, Jeffersonville. In fact, some of those areas in that part of the state were hit by weak tornadoes on Sunday night, and those places could be under the gun tomorrow. So, but again, if you're in any of those areas in Ohio, you need to stay weather aware tomorrow. And if you know anybody in those areas that I just mentioned, in any of those states, please contact them today. Let them know that it could get rough tomorrow. Make sure that they have a safety plan ready to go, and that they know where they are going to go in the event of a tornado warning tomorrow. And even outside of that, it's looking more and more like we could be looking at damaging winds 70 plus miles an hour. And that's going to be mostly coming through into the overnight and into the wee early morning hours of Thursday between 3 and 5 a.m., especially here in central Ohio. If you're in western Ohio, it looks like it's going to be roughly about 1 to probably about midnight to 2 a.m. if you're in western Ohio. So that would be the I-75 corridor, Toledo down to Findlay, as well as Lima, Wapakoneta, and then down towards Cincinnati and Dayton would be the time frame there. And so, but more importantly, that if you're anywhere in Indiana, and like I said yesterday, and I'm going to record a video tomorrow giving you a brief update regarding the threat tomorrow morning. And I did go live on my YouTube channel yesterday to test that out, and it appears that I don't have a web camera available to where you can see my face on there, as well as see any of the radar pages on there if I do a live stream. So because of that, I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, but I am going to be recording another update video I hope tomorrow morning, just giving you a final update on the threat level tomorrow, and where and just potentially, how bad it could be, making sure that you have a safety plan ready to go in case of bad weather tomorrow. Now, I will say that some of what I have seen, especially if you're between Indianapolis up towards Huntington and Fort Wayne, Indiana, some tornado values tomorrow in terms of significant, and that would be EF2 plus. Now remember, EF2 tornadoes winds at least of 115 to 120 miles an hour. The odds of that happening between Indianapolis, potentially as far north as Fort Wayne, are in roughly about the 60% mark on average, 60% chance. So if you're in any of those areas tomorrow, and again, there are a lot of universities in that stretch. Of course, in Indianapolis, you have the University of Indianapolis. You have Marian University. You get further north, up towards Lafayette. You have NCAA Division I Purdue University. You get up toward Fort Wayne. You have Indiana Tech. You have University of Purdue Fort Wayne. You also have University of St. Francis, and then in Huntington you have Huntington University, and then in Marion, Indiana, you have Indiana Wesleyan University. So if you are in any of those areas, or maybe you're a student at any of those schools, maybe you're a part of that school, maybe on staff, I really want you to pay attention to the weather tomorrow. Be weather aware, know where you're going to go in case of a tornado warning, and make sure that you are safe, and make sure that, again, that you know that you will have a safety plan in place, because in those areas it could get really bad tomorrow evening. The time frame right now, especially as if you're heading up Interstate 69 between Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, the worst timing of at least the strongest tornado potential appears to be between 4 and 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. And not just there, but you also have areas down toward in southern Indiana, Evansville, Bloomington, Columbus, Indiana, Greenwood, some of those areas that just seem like they are just been getting hit really hard the last couple of severe weather events. They're under the gun again tomorrow. And of course, I know that I know some Indiana Wesleyan family members that live in those areas, one in Evansville, one in Columbus, one in Greenwood. And then, of course, I know a lot of IWU students, particularly on the men's and women's basketball teams, that are on campus in Marion, Indiana. So for those of you that are on campus, I can't say it enough. Please, please, please stay weather aware tomorrow and have a safety plan in place and ready to go, because you more than likely will need it. We obviously hope that isn't the case. We hope and pray that things will start to weaken, that there's not going to be as big a threat tomorrow. But at least with the way things are trending as of this morning, it is just not looking good at all, unfortunately, for that part of Indiana tomorrow. But I do think here in Ohio, at least central Ohio, I think we're looking more at a damaging straight line wind event, potentially 70, 80 miles an hour. Maybe, I don't know particularly if it'll be enough for a derecho, but it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. And again, for this part of Ohio, I would say, at least in terms of the worst of the wind, in terms of the thunderstorms, between 3 and 5 a.m. on Thursday morning. Now, there is a chance here in this part of Ohio we could get isolated supercells that produce potentially a strong long track tornado. I think if that verifies from what I have seen, that would be, you would have, let's say, Dayton up towards Marysville, Delaware, Marion, Ohio, Mount Gilead, and then potentially heading up here towards Knox County. That would be more than likely between about 7 to 9:30. I'll just give a 2.5 hour window on the latter end of that. So roughly about 7 to 9:30 would be the time frame, at least here in this part of central Ohio, including the Columbus metro, that if you're in any of those areas or people that live in those areas, that's when you need to be most weather aware tomorrow evening. And then, of course, make sure that you charge your phone tomorrow and that you have a way to receive warnings overnight into the wee early morning hours of Thursday. So that is the latest update on the severe weather potential. And of course, I'll be sharing an updated video hopefully tomorrow morning with a final update on where the risk area stands and that sort of thing. So, and again, record that video tomorrow morning. Make sure that you are fully aware of the risk area tomorrow, and again, make sure most of all that you are prepared, and of course, as the Cub Scouts slogan says, be prepared. And I was in the Cub Scouts for a little bit of time back in 2000 and 2001, so literally back when it seemed like 50 years ago. But again, during that length of time I was in the Cub Scouts, we always learned how to be prepared, and this is a perfect time to practice that. If you are in particularly Western Ohio and pretty much all of Indiana, as up to about the Route 30 corridor up towards Warsaw, Winona Lake, and Fort Wayne. So if you're in any of those areas, be prepared. Come tomorrow, and again, I'll be recording a video hopefully tomorrow morning, giving you a final update on the severe risk, making sure that you are prepared for what could happen tomorrow night. And if you did enjoy this video or it was super helpful to you, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out tremendously. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day, and God bless.